Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Captain, and today I'm going to be reviewing and talking about Pathfinder Malevolence. Now, the Pathfinder Malevolence is one of the Adventure Path books. This is a single one, though a lot of them usually have multiple books in a row to carry on for a whole campaign. This is kind of a single book to start off a campaign, but then it gives you lots of ideas on coming up with adventures yourself for after this campaign. This campaign is meant to be started with characters who are at level 3, but by the end of it, you're probably going to be about level 6 once you are finished with this book. In addition, Paizo has released a Pathfinder Malevolence flip mat, which covers the majority of the places you will go in this book. So I'm going to be reviewing both of these here for my review of Malevolence. So I want to start by giving a big thank you to Paizo for sending me free copies of Pathfinder Malevolence and the flip mat to check out and review. Thank you, Paizo. Before I get too into this, I do want to say I've got a ton of links in the description down below that you can check out at your leisure. There's a link to BoardGameCaptain.com, which is a great hub for all things Board Game Captain. There's also a link to my Patreon. If you're in a position to and would like to support the channel, you can head over to my Patreon, link in the description down below. And there's a link to my Teespring store where you can get yourself tons of cool gamer gear, Board Game Captain merch, t-shirts like this one that say, "Buy me board games and tell me I'm pretty." There's a ton of t-shirts and mugs, etc. Link in the description down below. All right, so Malevolence is by James Jacobs. Now, James Jacobs works over at Paizo, and apparently from the story in the back of this, this was a homebrew campaign he was running for his group, and one of his friends in the campaign told him he needed to write this down and make a adventure out of it to sell as a product from Paizo. And after having gone through this, I want to say thank you to that player in his campaign that told him to do that, because, yeah, spoiler alert, I'm in agreement. This is a really cool concept. So this is a bit of a haunted house / mythos sort of game. It's obviously meant to be played as like a kind of horror movie sort of campaign. Again, you can get a few game sessions out of just this book, but then it gives you lots of ideas for how to spread out. So the whole of this campaign is based around this old abandoned haunted mansion, which is they have a bunch of different tips on ways to get your characters there, whether like one of them inherits it from a long lost dead family member, or they hear about it and decide to go investigate it. There's a bunch of different ideas on ways to get your player characters there. So now you are meant to start this at level 3. So, I mean, there's two basic options there. You could start the campaign at level 3, let your players build level 3 characters, or you could let them run a couple of basic adventures and get themselves up to level 3 before then throwing this at them, so that way they already know why they're together and why they're a party, etc. So once you get there, so the first chapter is Susurration. So Susurration as a chapter goes over so again some of the background story that leads into what is going on at the mansion. I'm going to keep this spoiler free. I don't want to ruin this for anybody who's deciding to play here. And then it goes into some of the early encounters and adventures and such you're going to get into in the haunted mansion. The next part is chapter 2, Manifestation, which leads you deeper into the mansion, where you'll run into more monsters and ghosts and haunts and all sorts of things, and uncover more of the mystery of what's going on here and why this has become such a powerful supernatural location. Lots of cool stuff here. And then you will get into, once you are finished with chapter 2, you get to chapter 3, Recrudescence. I think that's how it's pronounced, which brings you through the finale of, hopefully, as long as your players are successful, defeating and removing the curse from this mansion. Once you are done with these chapters, which I think you could split up into, like I said, multiple games. It depends on how long each session is. But if you played this as a single long session, you'd be there like all day and all night. So I think you're going to do a few games probably to finish out this adventure book. But once you're through there, you get to the Adventurer toolbox. So in the Adventurer's toolbox in the back of this book, they go through some special terminology, some kinds of extra kinds of research, and the sort of things they can find out when researching different topics. Topics include the manor itself, which is the Zarwin Manor, and the curse on it, which is the Zarwin Call, as well as the members of the Zarwin family, the Dominion of the Black. This adventure does involve the Dominion of the Black. I don't think I'm giving too much away by talking about that, as well as other topics involving other supernatural items and creatures and such. And then you get into the specific magical items that you will find in this mansion. There are some new magical items. There's some really cool ones. I don't want to give away what they are because I feel like that might be giving some spoilers, but there's some really interesting magical items in here, suffice to say, as well as a couple of new monsters. And there's not a lot in the way of new monsters, but there are a couple of new types of monsters you will encounter in the mansion. And then in the front cover and back cover, there are the two main levels of the mansion as maps, as well as inside there are some maps of a few areas above those two levels and below those two levels that you will run into while searching around in the mansion. Now, the map pack that they sell separately here, the Flip Mat Malevolence, comes with a double-sided map, like all of their maps do, that is able to be written on with wet and dry and even permanent markers to be erased from the map. This covers the larger parts of the mansion, so that the inside back cover and the inside front cover are in this flip map, whereas the extra little bits beneath and above the mansion are not. So I did want to throw that out there. You will need to use some of your other maps to represent those areas. If you collect a lot of maps like I do, that will not be a problem. If you don't, you may need to draw some rooms out on paper to represent them. But while searching through the entirety of the first and second level of the mansion, you have this giant, awesome, well-detailed map. And I'm not saying that lightly. I'm going to show a quick look at both sides here, because this map is absolutely awesome, absolutely gorgeous and fantastic. And it will cover the majority of your time in this haunted house. Okay, so now, this is a little different from a lot of the other Adventure Path books that Pathfinder puts out, that Paizo puts out for Pathfinder, I should say. So, like I said, this is a single book, one-off book. It's not one of two, one of three, one of four. It's a single book, but then it gives you lots of ideas for how to continue on with this adventure. There's lots of little hooks, lots of little storyline ideas that you yourself can build on. And I love that. I think that is a really, really cool idea. I love the whole horror theme. I love the fact that rather than a lot of encounters with monsters, you have haunts to deal with, which haunts are a little more interactive than just fighting a monster. You can try to use a bit of investigation to figure out how to defeat a haunt, and then use your skills more to defeat a haunt rather than just fight them. So I like the haunts in this. There's a ton of haunts in this. You should definitely build characters that are going to be able to deal with investigation and deal with haunts. Very likely you want to have either a cleric or a champion in your group, because you're going to want people that are good at dealing with ethereal enemies and haunts. Yeah, it's going to be very necessary. So definitely you're going to want to build towards that. And then as the game master, this is a great way, in my opinion, to help you have a starting point to build on and come up with more ideas for the campaign. I think Malevolence as a book is actually one of my favorite of the Adventure Path books I have read. I think it's fantastic. I really like it, and I'm going to give the book a 9 out of 10 stars. Absolutely adore this. I think this is fantastic. If you want to start a cool adventure with your player group and either finish it quickly and do other adventures, or build on it and have a big, long, ongoing adventure where you can, after you're done with this, you can come up with your own ideas on how to continue that, or come up with ideas based on decisions your players make. This is a great way to start a game, or to, run a couple basic games until your players are player 3, and then to continue a game. Malevolence is awesome. Highly recommend this one. Now, in regard to the map pack, I would have liked it a little better if they had two-sided maps, so you could have the second one for the other 2 levels. They are smaller though, so I understand why they didn't do that. But that said, this one map with the two main levels of the mansion is fantastic. It's really good, and I do have lots of other maps that I can use to represent the other parts of the mansion. So it is not that big a deal for me. It's not really gonna make or break this for me. It's fine, and it's really great that they have the entirety of the two main floors in the mansion here. I do like that. I have also already used this map pack in my Pathfinder group to try it out, and the rooms are great. And even if you're not playing Malevolence, if you're just buying this to use for a regular Pathfinder game, this is a great way to represent rooms in a mansion, in a or in just any other large building like a monastery or whatever. There's lots of great rooms in here that could represent just about any rooms in any kind of large building. So this is really good, and like I said, I have used it. I'm a big fan of the entire series that Paizo has done of these right-on double-sided maps, because you can draw on them again with dry, wet erase, or apparently they claim permanent. I haven't tried using permanent. I don't want to push my luck on that, but I use dry erase markers on these myself to be able to draw extra elements in, and it works just fine with the dry erase. It's actually quite good. All right, so time to rate the map pack. I'm going to give the map pack 8 out of 10 stars. I think it's really fantastic. So yeah, this is a quick review. Pathfinder Malevolence, 9 out of 10 stars. The map pack for the Malevolence, 8 out of 10 stars. I highly recommend both of these products to you. If you're going to play Malevolence, the map pack is really great to get. It's not 100% necessary. If you have a ton of other maps, you could use other maps to represent the rooms, but this is a great way to do it 100% accurately, where you can cover bits of the mansion with pieces of paper and slowly remove them to reveal as your players are exploring around the two main levels of the mansion, and that is really awesome. So yeah, this is definitely big recommends for me for both products. So there you have it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, either on Pathfinder Malevolence or the Pathfinder flip map for the Malevolence, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review and tutorial for a couple of role-playing game products, and you'd like to see me do more like it, be sure to give it a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on. Links in the description down below. Hi. Ow. Hi. What you doing? What you doing? Somebody needs attention? Okay. Hi. You're a puppy. Don't chew on me. No chewing. No chewing. Don't lick role-playing game books either. That's weird. Don't do that. Okay. I love you too. Okay, why don't you go play with your toys, and I'll play with you afterwards, okay? Go ahead.